Today, we're going to talk about the power of sound healing. I'm Risa Morimoto, your host. I'm an integrative nutrition health coach, and you're watching Modern Aging, where we chat about innovative and holistic ways to elevate our health and well-being as we age. If you're new to the channel, I'd love for you to subscribe. All you got to do is click on that little red button below with that little bell next to it to be sure to be notified whenever a new episode is uploaded. And if you haven't checked out our website yet, this is modernaging.com. You got to do that. We have new articles and podcasts and videos every single week. So today my guest is Mytrae Meliana. She is a sound healer and musician. She uses the incredible power of sound using musical instruments, and crystal sound healing bowls to heal from emotional trauma, from physical illness and emotional illness. You got to check this out. Mytrae, thank you so much for joining me today.
It's wonderful to be here with you, Risa. I'm really happy to be here.
And you're on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast. We're going to talk about sound healing. And apparently I'm actually going to be able to feel this sound, which I can't even believe I can do that online.
Yes, you can.
But I've been so intrigued with sound healing. I've had Reiki done where it had sound bowls on my body, and there is no way to really describe it except for to experience it yourself. But maybe you can define what sound healing is and what you do around sound healing. What makes you a sound healer?
So sound healing, probably if you're watching this show, you've heard of energy healing, right? And energy is everything. Energy is consciousness. Energy is everywhere. Sound is the same way. Sound is actually a form of matter that we can't see. Just like gravity. I mean, you can't see music, but you feel it. You can't hear the sounds of the ocean, but you see the ocean. So we experience sound, and our bodies are made of vibration. We are essentially vibration, because that's what energy is. And our bones have a different vibration from our kidneys, from our heart, from our brains. And so we are literally this symphony of sounds. So essentially we are music, and our cells understand sound. I mean, you know this, when you're in a city for, let's say you're caught in a big traffic jam in a city for 3 hours, you know how you feel as opposed to being out in a forest or by the ocean for 3 hours. It's a very different. So we take in the sounds. Harsh sounds make our bodies constrict and our cells constrict. And this actually leads to disease. And right. So healthy sounds or good sounds or nourishing sounds of nature, music, actually enable our cells to heal. So we can go in two different directions. And what sound has the capacity to go everywhere in our body. So it can go into our body, it goes into our brain, it affects our emotions, it affects our mind, improves our concentration, and it brings us to peace in a way that we may struggle to do on our own.
So tell me what you do as, I don't know, do you call yourself a sound healer? Or
I do. Yeah. So I'm a musician by trade, but have become a sound healer. A sound healer works with sound for the purpose of healing. And I have, a slew of instruments, primarily crystal singing bowls, but I also use drums, I use stringed instruments, I use chimes, I use the piano. But the crystal singing bowls I primarily use for healing because they bring the body into the state of very deep resonance and homeostasis, which is a deep state of rest. And when we're in the state of rest, it's like we can let go of everything. And that's how our body restores itself. That's how we can come to inner peace. We receive our own guidance. And it's the thing we're looking for. And I think it's better than meditation because you don't have to do anything.
Right. There's no expectations.
No.
So you literally, are you sitting up? Are you laying down? Are you know?
Yeah, ideally laying down, because that's when we get to put our brain to bed. And that's when we can let go of the mind. And when we lay down, then you go into deep states of rest. So just like with sleep, you go into these deep states of sleep. And in these deep states, it activates just the deep healing that the body needs, body, mind, spirit needs. And so you lay down and I play the bowls and you just receive. You close your eyes. The sounds are very soothing. Most people go into a very deep state of peace and relaxation. And it ends with silence. So it's like a very extended shavasana, you know.
Everybody's favorite yoga pose.
That's right.
Right. So, what is it actually doing? So, if you're in a state of distress or you have some sort of trauma, most of us women who are now, if we're in our 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, whatever, we have baggage. We all do, right? We have some sort of all the stuff that we're holding in, whether it's stress, years of, something that happened in our childhood, whatever it may be. How does sound help with that? Because I've heard that it does, and it can help heal by literally laying down and listening to these beautiful, just it's really melodic in many ways.
It is, and it's so powerful and yet so simple, and I think that makes us doubt it because we're used to things being complicated. So
Right.
sound, it's vibration. So like energy, it has consciousness, and the frequencies, our bodies understand it, and so when we hear the sounds, it retunes our cells. So in terms of stress is the number one cause that we all thing we struggle with. It immediately, within a minute, brings the body, mind, heart into a state of relaxation. Like a minute, and I'll play the bowls for you shortly, so you'll get to experience that. And when we relax, a lot of our issues are because we're not in an optimal state. We're rushing about in life, and it feels like work to get to another thing we have to do to try and relax sometimes, right?
Right.
Or it takes too long. But something like this is very quick. It doesn't have to take long. Even 5 minutes of this can be very deeply restorative.
Wow. And so is it the type of thing that certain sounds affect certain people different ways, or is it really all, the sound bowls, no matter what, will affect people the same way? Do you know what I mean? Because we all
Yeah.
have different biological makeups.
Right, right. Well, everyone is going to receive, just that deep state of renewal and rest. And we're all made up differently, right? So whether it's your emotional patterns or your mental beliefs, it will work on all of that. Especially you talked about trauma. So with trauma is stored in the limbic and the reptilian brains, which are the back two parts of the brains, which we can't access through talk. And sound goes into those places, and places which might be held in the body. Let's say it's fear. Let's say it's depression. Let's say it's anxiety. It can go into those places, and it soothes. And it soothes the nervous system. Right away, the nervous system recognizes it, knows it, and drinks it in because it's so nourishing. And that soothing it's profound.
So is it ideal for people, there's some people like my husband, for example, like he has to sleep with like some sort of noise, like sound machine or something. Like he can't have silence. Is it really great for people like that who need sound, some sort of sound? Or is that kind of a separate issue?
That may be a separate issue. I'm not sure if, it might be interesting to see if playing a recording of the crystal singing bowls helps them sleep better or not. But I've had people who play or listen to the bowls for like 5 or 10 minutes before they sleep, and they've reported just huge change because it just soothes them. Like you said, you can feel it in your bones, you can feel it in your cells, and your body understands it. We don't have to understand it with our mind. And that's the tricky part, because we want to understand everything before we can believe it.
Right.
But it's just feel it, and it's and your body knows, your body receives it.
I think that's the freakish thing about it when you do sound bowl work. It just like the sound healing you do, it just like literally pierces your body. It just like all of a sudden your body vibrates, and that's how you really realize that your cells are all different forms of energy, and they're just all it's pretty amazing. But I'm sure, it also depends on the person. I don't know. It's if someone is like just really kind of rigid and just has closed down so much, does it take a little bit more, or not necessarily because it's sound?
Not necessarily, again, it's not, there's lots of people who go for sound baths who are skeptical, or just like, what is this stuff, and have profound experiences. And having said that, it will affect different people differently. Like if you work with sound, a one-time thing is a one-time thing, but if you work with it on an ongoing basis or more frequently, it is designed to bring up what is unhealed. So emotions may arise. People may cry. They may have memories come up, but it's not going to be this sort of cathartic kind of overwhelming experience. The grief, you may release grief, you may release anger. So it's a healthy form of release and detox, because it moves the stuck emotions out of you. And that's what we want, because that's such a big part of disease or ill health. And so that release and shedding is wonderful for trauma. As well, it opens us up to joy and peace and possibility. And so once those stuck emotions leave, then there's space, the energy clears, and then there's space to access who we really are, which is a real, being state is of joy and happiness and power and truth. And all this we get to experience.
That's amazing. And I want people to know that Mytrae has been kind enough to do a session for us, which is going to be a separate video. So I'll put the link up here so that people can really experience it. So when you're talking the bowls, like what's the ideal kind of bowl? And I'm assuming different bowls have different frequencies, which means they have different sounds. And do you use different bowls for different kinds of things?
Yeah, so welcome to the universe of bowls. There's so many different kinds of bowls. I'm just going to pull one here. So this is a bowl, and as you can see,
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's a beautiful blue color. This is about 9 inches in diameter, and it has the frequency of E, so it's the note of E. And different chakras have different notes. So the E corresponds with the third chakra, or the power chakra, the solar plexus. So you can use any bowl. Any bowl will work for all of you. It's not that you need to have now 19 different bowls, but when somebody wants to become a practitioner, then they become more specific as to, okay, I want to use this bowl when I see clients working, with these particular issues. But if somebody wanted to get a bowl for personal well-being, you can. Often I will tell people, when you hear a bowl and your body will feel it. Like there's a yes that you get from that bowl, and that's one way to choose. Another way to choose is, okay, I want a bowl for my heart, or I want to open my throat, or I want to really grow my power. So those are the ways you can choose a bowl based on the pitch.
And how do you even find these bowls? Like, how do you how do you know which bowl?
Yeah, there's lots of sound bowl shops online, and they have. You want a crystal singing bowl, so you can start with a white quartz. Has a different blue, but you can start with a simple white quartz or any other kind of bowl. And they range from about 120 to about 180. But it's something you can use for a lifetime. And it's very easy to play. If you can stir a pot, you can play a bowl. It's really that simple. It's not a big musical instrument. It's actually a wellness tool, which I think is just really accessible and affordable for most people.
So is that something that you do yourself, or is it better to be kind of the passive person laying down, just listening?
Both. So I feel like if you can do this, people often will start by going to sound baths just to experience it, right? And once you've had a few of those, you can really get a bowl. You know, there's lots of places online. I'm happy to give you some links of places that you can share with your listeners. And you can play a bowl in your home. If you just want 5 minutes of relaxation, or just peace, or something to do, a little ritual before you go to sleep, or something in the morning when you wake up, or something just when your hair is, whatever you need. And it's a beautiful way. Like I said, it's just like even 2 minutes. It doesn't have to be 5 minutes. Even 2 minutes of it just brings you back to your center. And it's very, very calming and restorative. And people who have health issues will often use bowls more extensively and more regularly, like 10 minutes a day or 15 minutes a day, just playing a bowl, or 2 bowls, whatever they have. It works on the cellular level to really open up and heal.
So what is the difference between playing a sound bowl on the ground and being a passive listener versus having that bowl on your body and playing it on? Because I've had it on my body, and the reverberation is insane.
Right.
It's amazing to
It
feel,
is.
like physically feel sound waves go through your body.
You do. And are you talking Tibetan bowls, or are you talking the crystal singing bowls?
I think those were Tibetan bowls that were on my body.
Right. Yeah. Typically, they'll put the Tibetan bowls on the body, and those are easier to play on the body. The crystal singing bowls are a little harder to play on the body. So, and also they are very, very powerful. So sound, it doesn't need to be on. It can be nice. It can be close to the body, but remember, sound goes through anything. Sound goes through water. Sound goes through stone. Sound goes through our bones. So it's that philosophy of closer or on me is better doesn't really apply here. So you can be, they have these sound baths in these big auditoriums, like you can be 200, 500 feet away from it. You can receive it online even. So it's great that way, especially with the crystal singing bowls, that they can pierce, they pervade and permeate through everything. So you don't really need to have them on your body.
So what would you say is the main difference between, let's say, a crystal singing bowl and a Tibetan bowl?
Yeah, so the Tibetan bowls are made of metal. And metal is very grounding. It's very centering. It's very sort of earth. It has the earth element. Crystal singing bowls are made from crystals, so quartz. And crystals, being quartz, they have the most cohesive structure of anything on the planet. And quartz has a mirroring structure as to the water molecule. So we are 70-80% water. So you might have seen these beautiful mandalas of messages from water from that wonderful Japanese scientist Morimoto, right, where they showed the cells of the water molecules being like these beautiful snowflake mandalas. Imagine your cells that way. So when your cells are literally tuned, it's sort of like tuning a musical instrument. Our cells go out of tune. That's what causes disease. The sound from the crystal, because it has the same harmonic resonance, the same structure, crystalline structure as water, it literally has the ability to reshape and bring those cells back to their strength. So it really, the best example, it's like a musical instrument. Our cells get retuned because it's such a match in terms of the crystal, as well as they have the capacity to bring in light into the body.
Wow. What do you mean by that?
So sound and light are two sides of the same coin. So thunder and lightning, right? They're different forms of energy. And light, especially different kinds of rays, and beyond the rays, so we're talking just the rays that we know on our earth, as well as spiritual rays from higher realms can come in and heal. So it also affects us because we are ultimately light. There's a lot of science out there. There's a whole field of, we are biophotonic. So we are matter, but essentially as matter, we are light. And we are different colors of light. And what that does is it activates those kinds of colors and frequencies in us, as well as brings that in into places that may have disease, into places where there's trauma. Those are definitely places where there's disease. So for instance, sometimes if you look at a picture of an energy body, you can see dark spots in different parts of the energy body, which is outside of the physical body. And what that shows is that this person has these particular mindsets or particular beliefs or ancestral trauma. And these show up as these dark spots. So what sound does, it has the capacity to bring light into those places, so those automatically melt. And what I love about sound is like, we don't have to do the work in the way that we've been traditionally known to do. Like, we have to know what belief it is, we have to like work on, and how do you get to something that's unconscious and in your energy field, right? So it's kind of asking us to do the impossible, but sound helps us do that.
That's incredible. So you were going to do a little demo for us.
Yes.
I would love to hear these bowls, as I'm sure everybody is who's watching would love to hear them as well. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Okay, so I have 3 bowls here. The first one is a 12-inch G sharp. The second one, which you've already met, is a 9-inch E. And then this one is an 8-inch B. So together they make a chord.
Oh, so this is great if you're a musician.
Absolutely, yeah. So the G sharp works with the throat, the E works with the power, and B works with spirit. So we're getting 3 of those chakras, but it doesn't mean that the others aren't being affected. Everything is, it's just that this is sort of a enhanced version of that. All right, just sit back, relax, and receive.
That was so beautiful. What is the stick that you're using to play the bowls?
So it's called a mallet, and it's this is made of silicone, and it just, as you can see, it's really simple. I'm just playing around the upper rim, outer rim, and I'm not even doing that much because it sings on its own. The bowls sing on their own. Yeah, so it's just silicone, and these are made from crystal.
But I imagine that you have to make sure that you get a good quality crystal if you want good sound, that there must be a range, right?
Yeah, well,
Or
there
like
there
to
is.
make sure things to keep in mind if you want to purchase a bowl, for example.
Yeah, that's a great question. If you want to purchase a bowl, to start out, there's no such thing as bad crystal. Because crystal is just so pure. Nobody manufactured it's comes from the earth. So, but
But I'm sure
what
people have like fake crystal bowls.
I have never seen one, but maybe you're
Really?
right. Anything is possible. I
I
will take
mean, so,
that. But yeah, so you want to make sure they're real crystal. Let's qualify that. And so you want to make sure that the bowl sings well. Some of the bowls, occasionally they'll come across a bowl where you can play it, but you have to play it really hard or it doesn't quite play. So you want to make sure that it plays and like it sings on its own, and is easy to play. So you're not like stirring something very heavily, but it's like something you can do with ease.
right, right. Well, that makes sense. Is it ideal to have them played or listen to sound healing in the dark? Like, is it better to kind of be on the floor? Does it matter if you're on the bed?
You can be anywhere. You can even be sitting. You can stand up. If you can't lie down, you can stand up, put the bowls on a table and play it that way. You can play. I mean, I've played for seniors where people sat in chairs. Some could sit, some could lie down. It doesn't matter. You can be sitting and still receive the benefit. So you can be outside, you can be inside, you can have candlelight. It's a wonderful ritual to have. Daytime, nighttime, there's no limits. I think it's just experiment and to work it into your own schedule, into your own day and your own whatever you enjoy.
And what would you say is kind of the ideal length for a session where you can get like the maximum benefits, I guess?
So if it's a sound bath, it's typically about an hour long. Some of them are more. For an individual session, let's say it's a one-on-one treatment, it's also about an hour. But I typically have found like I've said, you don't need a whole lot. Anywhere for about even 30 minutes is plenty. Because also you don't want to like overload the body. It's not like, let's sort of flood it. We want to give it enough. If you're doing it personally, like for your own personal use, to just center yourself, a couple minutes is great. And if you want just maybe a deeper piece, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, at the most 20. It doesn't take a lot of time, and that's what's the most powerful. The amount of time and the benefits that you receive are completely different.
So would it be good to do it every day or 3 times a week? Doesn't matter.
Whatever your schedule allows, whatever is possible for you, because that's when I think it needs to be up to each individual, because you know how much time you have for your relaxation, for your self-care. And as you get to work with the bowls, you will find on your own, oh, I want to use it at this time of the day, or I want to use it, after I've made dinner, or after this hectic time in my life, or just I want to de-stress. So you know what your day looks like and your schedule is. So trust yourself. You know when you need to rest and renew, and to just give yourself that.
Right. So I think that it's amazing because the sound baths can help us heal, but it also allows for ourselves to heal.
That's
To
exactly.
allow our own immune system to heal ourselves, right? In a way, or whatever, if you're on certain kinds of medication or, just allowing, if your body's at rest, it can do its work.
Yes.
Basically, right?
Absolutely. It empowers you to help heal your body. And that's, you are empowered. It's not, yes, you can go to a sound bath. Yes, you can get a sound healing treatment, but you can also bring one into your home. And that gives you a beautiful healing modality that you can work with and enjoy. It's lovely.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. And I think that the fact that it can actually heal on an emotional level, which I think a lot of us, especially with COVID, we've just had so many different layers of mental health issues, whether it's depression or, just simply not feeling right, feeling angry or having different sorts of emotions. It's really powerful, I think, on that level to be able to use sound healing.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's very powerful for emotions. Yeah, and
So I think that people who may be suffering from, whether it's depression or anxiety or, any level of just stress, which 100% of us do, I think it'd be a great option to start incorporating sound healing and sound baths and into our lives. Wow. So Mytrae, as we kind of wrap this up, is there any kind of final thoughts or advice that you want people who are new to this should really consider as they kind of, possibly bring this into their life, into their toolkit of, more healing modalities in their life?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, first of all, YouTube, there's a lot of sound healings available on YouTube. So that's a great place, a free place to get started. Then if you want more sound baths or sound healing treatments, there's lots of practitioners you can reach out to. And then if you feel called to get a bowl, do it. I highly, highly recommend it because it's such a personal, beautiful way of self-care, where whatever you're dealing with on any level, physical, emotional, mental, energetic, and it's great for the home. I've noted families tell me, or couples tell me, like when there's any kind of, friction or conflict, it's a great way just let's bring everybody together. So it brings in sort of sense of community. So if you feel called to do it, get it and try it and experiment with it. It's really easy and simple, and you will be empowered to help heal yourself.
That's amazing. And Mytrae, so I know that you sell bowls on your site, and you also have a course on sound healing. Is that right?
I do, yeah. I sell bowls. I have an online course where you can learn how to play the crystal singing bowls. And from time to time, I offer practitioners who want to learn how to use bowls for their clients. I teach them how to play as well.